Dinosaurs are sweet.
Dinosaurs are epic.
Epic dinosaurs.
Super manly, except not manly because they're lizards. And they're terrible.
Terrible dinosaurs. Rawr. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Man Panel. I am Captain Astro, here with my friend Jack Lumber.
What's up, yo?
Hey, we're going to talk about dinosaurs today.
Yeah. First topical piece is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's we're going to go through some history, then mythology around dinosaurs, followed by dinosaurs today. Popular references and what if they could exist today, what they would be like, and then we're going to talk about our favorites.
Yeah, man.
So that's cool. Let's knock it off with some history.
Yeah.
So there are three periods of time, way back when scientists think dinosaurs were around. The Triassic, followed by the Jurassic, followed by Cretaceous. And those three periods lasted from between 250 million years ago up to about 65 million years ago when everything was supposedly wiped out. But, so when scientists think of dinosaurs, it's kind of cool because apparently they believe that Pangea was the time that dinosaurs existed. So all of these land masses, all the continents were actually together as one. And then dinosaurs were there. And dinosaurs as we know them, they were big reptilian animals, mammals almost, like a half and half. So you had your T-Rex and your Triceratops and the Bronchiosaurus and Stegosaurus, these just big massive animals that weighed tons. And they, some ate, were like herbivores, they ate plants. Other ones were, carnivores and ate other dinosaurs.
Yummy.
Yeah, I'd love to try a dinosaur. That'd be awesome. Hey man, what'd you eat today? I was eating like an ankylosaurus.
A Jurassic steak.
Or exactly. Some big massive, dinosaur steak. But so that's kind of what I think of whenever I think of a dinosaur. But scientists think, actually, that these animals were more like feathery, like they had more feathers than scales, which is kind of goes against everything I was, growing up on. Like
like Jurassic Park. Those
Right.
dinosaurs look pretty epic, and I can't imagine T-Rex with like a peacock feathers sticking
bunch
out
of
of
feathers.
his head.
It just seems ridiculous.
Seems a little weird. I mean, all we have to go on is their bones and some of the other things left near them. So that's where they get the idea of feathers, and it may be. No one's ever been back in time.
Yeah, like they don't really agree on it yet, but I mean the T-Rex was actually supposedly a feathered, creature, which
Makes me
is
upset.
so dumb.
Science, you're destroying my childhood.
But yeah, so I mean, and actually they link the feathers and the dinosaurs because of this Archaeopteryx thing. It's a specific type of bird that existed in the Triassic period, which predated the Jurassic period. So they think that the animals, most of these Archaeopteryx or whatever they were actually what was that?
Archaeopteryx, maybe?
We'll call it that.
I don't know.
But they were wiped out, and then from there, most of the dinosaurs evolved, at least so that they believe. And then again, of course, 65 million years ago, everything was wiped out either by like an asteroid or volcanic activity or a climate changing event. So
Something like that.
that's kind of the history.
Cool. We're going to talk a little bit also about mythology surrounding them. For all that we know, humans and dinosaurs never coexisted. I personally believe they did. We'll get into that a little bit. But even if they didn't, there's lots of mythology surrounding something called dragons.
Interesting.
Interesting enough, the word dinosaur was not invented until about 1840, where the first modern scientists coined the phrase. And up until that time, people had been using the term dragon to refer to either living things that they saw or bones that they found in the ground. Because you look back through history, and a lot of cultures call for dragon bones being crushed up into a powder as like a remedy for things, because they believe that these beasts had magical powers. So could maybe a Chinese person, because I say Chinese because that's the one that calls for dragon bones most often, so I'm not being racist there.
He's not a racist.
The Chinese person dug up a T-Rex in their backyard and like, whoa, what is this beast? And it's like, oh, it's a dragon, obviously. Well, take some of its bones, it'll heal you because it's magic. Maybe stuff like that. People have been said to have slayed these things like dragons, like Saint George. He saved a maiden from a dragon who was being that the villagers were sacrificing 2 sheep every day to it to keep it appeased, and it kept attacking anyway because the dragon wasn't a god; it was just some sort of hungry beast, maybe a dinosaur, maybe some sort of big crocodile, who knows. But so they wanted to sacrifice the king's virgin daughter, because that always works.
That always works.
Whenever there's a problem, sacrifice a virgin.
Sacrifice a virgin.
That's just a good rule. Not a good rule. Don't ever do that.
We're not endorsing that.
This is the modern times. We don't do that. It's a horrible thing. Anyway, they said, oh, we'll feed her to the dragon and everything will be fine. So St. George was like, no, I'm gonna kill this thing. And yeah, it's very possible that some of these dragons' bones were actually like mammoths or woolly rhinos or prehistoric beasts that were mistaken for some kind of dragon. So that's kind of a little bit of the mythology. People are very creative. We tend to make things out of things that might not be there, or we make something exaggerated. Maybe they saw a Komodo dragon and it was like, that thing's 800 feet tall.
Wow,
like,
that's
and
crazy.
it breathes fire. Maybe someone who got attacked by one of these little tiny lizards. Like, he goes back to his friends and he's like, oh man. They're like, what happened? He's like, I got attacked by a dragon. They're like, really? What'd you do? He's like, I had to. It was huge. It was like 50 feet tall, and it breathed fire at me. And it had claws that were like the size of spears, and I couldn't throw my spear through it because its skin was impenetrable. Maybe they were exaggerating. I don't know. That's a little bit of fun and mythology of dinosaurs. Let's continue.
It's an interesting perspective. For sure. No, it was cool. I mean, maybe they actually were dinosaurs, or maybe like they have this Chinese one. I just saw an article. Our friend Taylor actually showed me this article about a little tiny 4-winged dinosaur kind of thing, and it was feathery, like it had feathers on it. But I mean, I guess some scientists claim that in itself was a dinosaur, which if it had wings and it flew around and it was from China, maybe it was also a dragon,
Yeah.
Different perceptions. But I don't know, we came up with a couple things for dinosaurs today. I mean, even that, like, could they still exist via evolution? I don't know, but I know the way, again, that a lot of people think about dragons, we already kind of talked about it. The Jurassic Park series, it's huge. They got the soon to be 4 movies, that's coming out.
So, by the way, just a side note, Chris Pratt is in everything now.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently, he's going to be. They're looking at him to do Indiana Jones.
Like, what the heck?
Maybe they'll find dinosaurs in that.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, maybe.
They already did Aliens, so they might as well do dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. There's your next Indiana Jones piece.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, real life. John Hammond stole the idea from Indiana Jones, i.e. Chris Pratt. But I mean, I came up with some other ones, and maybe Jack, some of these too. The Land Before Time series.
Yeah,
there's like 30 of those,
all of them,
right? Yeah. Following the little dinosaur guy looking for the star leaf thing.
Yeah.
The Dinosaur TV show from 1994. They the working dinosaur, the dad, with the hard hat, and his son. That was ridiculous.
That was fun.
I remember that from a kid. I was a young tot back then. And then the Ice Age movies, they made an appearance in there too. So just some popular references for dinosaurs.
Yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. And as far as to your point, could they still exist today? Personally, I believe they could.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's my theory.
Go for it.
Like you said, maybe some climate change sort of thing wiped them out. Here's a fun fact for you guys: the biggest land animal that's ever existed is called Brachiosaurus. It's a long neck dinosaur. Its neck is like 60 feet long, and its tail is another 80 feet. It's a huge beast.
What?
It's very, very big, and it weighed as much as like a jumbo jet or something. Not that
insane.
much. It's like 13 school buses or something.
Wow.
Very, very big creature.
That's huge. 13 school buses.
Here's another fun fact for you about these dinosaurs. The reason scientists think they're more like birds than they are like lizards is because their bones are hollow.
Right.
And one of the reasons for that might be because if you had a dinosaur that was that big and didn't have hollow bones in its neck, it might not be able to lift its neck. It might not be able to lift its foot, because its foot would be too freaking heavy.
It's too heavy, yeah.
The muscles would rip off, and it would just be
awful.
horrible.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Brachiosaurus, really tiny. If you look at their skulls, they have a really tiny nasal passage. So if you think of a 60-foot neck, where their lungs are way down there somewhere, that are probably about the size of you and I, Captain.
Right.
How are you going to get air through a tiny, tiny little nasal passage? Really tiny. It's like I'm holding my finger up. It's just like, if you would do the OK symbol, it's like that big. Imagine that on a gigantic animal and trying to get enough air down there.
That's a good point.
And scientists have actually proven that there was more like more potent oxygen
Mm-hmm.
in the atmosphere back when dinosaurs lived. They take like fossilized amber and they drill in and
Kind of like Jurassic Park.
yeah, kind of like Jurassic Park. They take like an air sample of the pockets in there and they discover there's more. It's much more a higher percentage of oxygen than we have now. So if we have big dinosaurs like that, let's imagine that suddenly there's some change in the climate that forces oxygen levels to go down. Big animals aren't going to live very long because they're not getting enough oxygen to oxygenate their blood and do all this stuff. So the big ones die out real fast.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Big ones die out fast. Smaller ones get by. And here's why I think they could still exist. Maybe not now, but they probably did up into the modern time. And here's why I say that. Because people are finding things that were supposedly went extinct millions of years ago all the time. I think it's like every couple of years they find some shark or some fish or some plant that they thought was extinct 65 million years ago. And, it's still around,
Mm-hmm.
So, I look at that and I look at various stories from history. People like Marco Polo and Herodotus, a famous Greek historian, Josephus, a famous Hebrew historian. They all describe certain beasts that look a lot like what we would imagine dinosaurs looking like.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have come all the way up to the modern time, and then we get knights who are trying to make a name for themselves. They start hunting them down. I think they may have been overhunted, honestly. And if there are any left, they're small and they're far away in the jungles or they're deep in the ocean.
What do you think about the monster references, too? I mean, maybe that's something. Like, those are actual monsters. You know, we have all these mythology-based, the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot.
Right.
Maybe these are all variations of...
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things that we have myths for and legends for are founded in some kind of truth.
It's true.
Some kind. And maybe like I said, maybe we exaggerate a lot of things, but I feel like...
Could be an element of truth to each one, though.
Yeah, I feel like somewhere along the line somebody saw a dinosaur, and some human saw a dinosaur, and scientists don't like that, but I think, they've proved themselves wrong enough times with like coelacanth and the frill shark and various other deep sea beasts. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some dinosaur out there.
It's out there somewhere. The ocean's vast too.
Yeah.
Or all those ocean ones.
So, I definitely believe that there's some in the ocean, and Megalodon, that's still around.
Speaking of which, what's your favorite?
My favorite. Well, like I said earlier, I liked Velociraptor.
Yeah.
But now that they're all feathery, I'm not sure. They're just like I wouldn't be quite as terrified if I saw that
Big
one.
feathered dinosaur running at you.
Yeah.
It's hard to take you seriously with all those feathers.
Yeah, maybe instead of that screech that they made, they're like gobble, gobble, gobble. Like
a giant turkey.
Are you guys serious?
Really?
So yeah, I like that one. I like the flying ones, pterodon. Like
those are cool.
Pretty cool. They remind me a lot of condors. Like they make their nests way up on cliffs.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they can just like dive bomb off of it and start flying. Pretty cool. I'd like to be able to do that.
It'd be fun. I mean, your nickname was Eagle in college.
Yeah.
So it fits that. You want to fly.
I want to
I'd
fly.
want to fly.
I feel like I was an eagle in a past life.
Past life, yeah. I just think I was a fighter pilot. Like if past lives were a thing, like I would be a fighter pilot.
I don't know. I'd like to go. I'd like to go to a psychic just to see what they told me.
Like I don't believe you, but I'm interested.
I'm interested to see what they tell me. Because here's a side note: they always tell you something stupid, like or you were somebody important. They never tell you, oh, you were Hitler. Like
right,
you were a peasant.
You're a bad psychic.
You were like, a peasant in ancient Mesopotamia or something.
The goofiest things ever.
It's always you were a king of something.
So my favorite's a little different. I used to like the Triceratops, and I feel like there's two schools of thought in like awesome dinosaurs. Thank you, Jurassic Park. But like it used to be the Triceratops. I don't like the Triceratops anymore because of four things. One, it's a liar. All right, so it didn't exist. Right, the word for Triceratops in the Greek meant three-horned face. But this dinosaur only had two real horns. The third was like a horn, which was actually like a snout, right? That was formed of like the scientists saying soft proteins and whatever. It wasn't really useful in a tussle.
So it was really like
a Diceratops. It was a liar.
A Diceratops.
Whatever it was, you lied. Second, it was another dinosaur's lunch.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a little disappointing. I want a dinosaur that it's my favorite not to be on some other dinosaur's lunch menu. Also, they think that the horns weren't used for defense. They actually think that they were used as like a
Pull
mating
stuff out of the
thing.
ground.
And yeah, seriously, they were thinking
No practical use except just like, hey,
yeah, except
check out
like
my horns, baby.
check out my horns. See how big it is? Yeah, that's my horn. I'm like keeping your pants, Triceratops. Like not cool. And lastly, they didn't eat meat, which I knew as a kid, but I guess I didn't really put one and one together. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I like meat.
meat's good.
Meat's good. So I guess my favorite in this case, and going along with the, we're talking about the T-Rex a lot, is the T-Rex. And it's awesome because it had this really powerful bite. I guess back in 1996, some Stanford people said that the pounds of force the jaw alone could do, like could press per square inch, was about 1,500, depending on the size, 1,500 to 3,000 pounds of force. Like, that's insane. Second, they had a great sense of smell and good eyesight. People think that they were really bad with eyesight, but I'm going to choose to believe the other school of thought that says they had really good eyes. Next, the name was sweet. It basically it meant
Tyrant Lizard King.
Exactly, Tyrant Lizard King.
Awesome.
It resided in North America, so it knew a great country before it was cool. And last but not least, its legit diet, which was other dinosaurs.
That's about it.
So yeah.
Now I'm going to go just play Dinosaurs advocate here and go on the herbivore side. Mm-hmm. There are some cool ones. Like Stegosaurus, we all think he had a pretty small brain, but he did have a mace for a tail.
He did have a mace for a tail. It's pretty awesome.
And shields all over his back. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the big plates.
Yeah, and there are various other
sweet.
dinosaurs that had like really bony like tails that they could smash people's brains.
I think it was like the ankylosaur.
Yeah,
that's what they called it because it was so small. But it had a big mace for a tail, and
Sure
that's
did.
what its main weapon was.
Yeah, and that's why Triceratops ended up being dinner because its horns were for attracting ladies.
Exactly.
And it was living in a hostile environment. T-Rex was like, "Ooh, I'll eat you. You're not gonna cave my face in
Exactly.
with your mace tail."
Yeah, so
Like-
that's actually a manly tip.
Yeah.
Stop trying to please the ladies and worry about defending yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still a hostile
It's a
world.
hostile world out
It's
there.
still a hostile world. There's all sorts of things that can kill you. Be prepared.
Be prepared.
And if you are prepared, the right kind of lady will be attracted to you anyway. She'll be like, "Wow, that guy."
See that? Dinosaurs, modern life lessons,
Modern life
from
lessons.
65 million years ago.
They teach us things even today.
Even today.
It's amazing.
But that's all we got for the show today.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys learned something about dinosaurs, had a good time. We did.
We did. It was fun.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys probably on Sunday. Sometime we'll do a normal episode again. Then we'll do another topical one. Again, if you guys have any suggestions, you need to send it to us because we'd love to talk about whatever the heck you guys want to hear about.
Yeah.
Because that'd be awesome.
All right, guys.
Unless it's something stupid.
Which, I mean, if we don't hear anything, we're probably going to try space.
Maybe.
We'll see about
Well,
space.
yeah, space travel.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
I'd do that one. Yeah.
All right.
Man panel out.
Peace.
Bye.